And we are back. The whole family is back together for another big match preview. It's been a long time since we've had this wonderful company, so I hope plenty of people are going to watch along and enjoy and do the usual smash your like and all of that stuff and subscribe. But let's get into it. Let's say hello to everybody. Chris, welcome back. It's been a while for you.
It does feel like it's been a while, yeah. I mean, I can't believe the year's nearly over. The season is just absolutely flying by. But yeah, good to be back.
Good. Dad, is that you interfering?
Yeah, sorry. Technology issues, my end.
It's been a while, hasn't it? That's why. You just want to get your voice heard.
It's been a while, and as you can see, Lad's got all the mic. He's got all the podcast gear. He's taken it to his house, and I haven't got anything anymore. That's why I sound like I'm speaking from a toilet.
Blood. I mean, I love how the viewers of this channel have been treated to a real father and son progression over the years. Well, Lad's now stealing your equipment for his own personal gain.
Exactly.
And the amount of comments we get on Lad now having a deep voice and a beard. And without further ado, Lad, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing brilliant.
I'm just wondering, mate, are you ever going to branch out and just call yourself something other than Lad to Leeds or Lad? You want to make
does he have to?
I mean, I don't want him to. I like it as Lad.
It's like asking him to change his surname. You know what I mean? It's like asking him to change his surname or something.
No, I'm not asking for that. I'm just thinking, are you going to brand? Are you going to become something else like Big Lad?
Big Lad.
That sounds really wrong.
Grown up lad or something like that. Grown up.
Old man and dad.
It doesn't roll off the tongue. It doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
Good. Right. Well, I'm happy now that we've got that out of the way. So if anyone has been listening along, and if you haven't already, obviously the podcast is out. You've got mine and Mike's review from the Rotherham game, so I won't get too much into my thoughts. I'll give these guys some time instead. Lad, how did you find Rotherham? Obviously, you were on the big match preview. What did you make of the game?
It was like unbearable, to be honest with you. I really didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed the first 6 minutes when we scored, but like the rest of the game that came after that, oh my God, that was a tough watch and very frustrating as well. I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't an enjoyable Friday night.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm going to try and eke some positivity out of some of you, but before I do that, I may as well ask Dad, how did you enjoy the game?
I had similar frustrations. The possession-based game we're playing is just sometimes so far off producing anything productive. However, I do sit there and think there was a strike chance. Dan James should have been a penalty for sure, but obviously we don't have the VAR. And then of course there was, Bamford was not offside, and you kind of take all that into account and thinking, how unlucky are we that the one chance they get, they score? Yeah. It's kind of like you think it only happens to us, that it only feels like it happens to us. And they had one chance and we made a right pig's ear of it. And I'm afraid to say I think Liam Cooper's fingerprints were all over that goal happening in more ways than one, and we'll probably get into that a bit further. But it is hugely frustrating, and it does make you think after how it all went, we're probably not going to win this league. But do you know what? I'll take second place.
I like this comment already. This is good. I don't have an answer for that, unfortunately. Chris, as a man with a beard and a man, I've gone in this order intentionally because you're usually the happiest. Tell me something positive about Rotherham. You enjoyed the game-ish, no?
I mean, it was frustrating. It started obviously fairly well. We weren't on the back foot for a change. We always start really slow. We got the goal kind of. It was a good move, but it kind of came from nowhere. So I just expected them to go on and get 4 or 5 and to be a really easy game. But I think the players thought that as well. I think the players got too comfortable and they didn't really. Yeah, they didn't push on. They probably just thought we're going to get so many chances, and that's why they weren't clinical when it came to them. There's about 5 or 6 players who were all guilty of missing chances that they don't have to score, but they didn't even hit the target. So
yeah,
it was just frustrating. I mean, it wasn't a disaster, but yeah, going 1-0 up so early on, you don't expect to be struggling and nearly coming away with a defeat at the end of it.
Yeah. No, I can take all your points on board. I do think The second half, I agree with you all, was pretty disappointing to watch, really hard watch, and we just didn't do anything with it. But the first half, I was really encouraged by the way that we played. I think we created a lot of chances. We shouldn't go into the break at 1-1, but again, it's sort of been a similar script with us at different points of this season. The Plymouth game is the same. I think at one point, when it does click and the finishing arrives, I think someone's due a pumping. But it's been a few times this season. QPR was like that, took the lead early. 1-0. Yeah, but there's been a few games this season where I've gone on. I've said to the missus, like, I think we're going to get 6 tonight. And she goes, if you get 6, we're getting lucky tonight. You can have it. And then I'm sat there for 85 minutes going, fucking come on, lads, and nothing happens. So it is what it is.
Park rumble.
Yeah, I've told the missus, just make no promises now. Maybe it's my fault. But no, with the game, I did think there was encouraging things in there. My player ratings weren't anywhere near as low as maybe some people's would have. But yeah, I think there's encouragement in there. I think we need to start taking some of these chances if we are going to break into that, top.
What's your encouragement? And what was your encouragement? I found it really frustrating. I didn't feel encouraged. I mean, the first half we kept possession. I can't remember.
We created a lot of chances.
Did we? How many? How many?
We created a lot of chances. We should have been 3 or 4 up by half time.
We did. I think we did. Like we were just not. We weren't clinical. Like we were taking shots that were blazing over the bar, rolling straight.
It was Dan James. Dan James blazed it. Dan James blazed it. Somerville hit the keeper.
Should have hit the target.
Which header?
Early on, I think
it was right at the start, wasn't it? Right at the start.
There was plenty of chances. We just unfortunately didn't take them. And then obviously second half was quite disappointing in that we let them get back into it by getting that late equaliser, and then they just sat in on us. So yeah, we need to try and kill teams off when we've got the opportunity, which hopefully we can start with on Wednesday night against Swansea. But I'll be honest, in terms of research, bearing in mind I've had a show with Lad a few days ago, I'm not expecting a right lot. So I'm going to come to Chris first and give Lad some time to do some typing in the background. Chris, tell me anything that you know about Swansea.
I don't know a great deal, but I do know one of their highest rated players is Matt Grimes, who I don't think any of us would want back in the team. So on that basis, and the fact we've nicked their striker, we've taken several players over the past few years. They're just a solid championship team now. They're not going up. They're not going down.
No, it's funny that people obviously come to All Leeds TV for glowing insight, and Chris has failed miserably here. Dad,
that was good. That was preparation. That was a good couple of minutes I spent on that.
I was going to say, I think that was quite good. I mean, look, I would disagree with Chris in the sense that we're a solid championship side. I think we're actually struggling quite badly this season, and it's like what you said before. It's another one of those games. I mean, I'm not going to spoil my prediction, but it ain't going to be a 1-0 expectation here. Even though I do think we'll probably have a bit of problems at the back with our back four again. Trying to choose them is a bit difficult. But they've had 1 win in 5. This should absolutely be a team we dish out a whooping to.
I'm intentionally flashing comments up to cover your fingers typing, Lad. I've been chuckling away here, watching you actually move quite quickly for the first time. It's rare teenage behaviour, this. But if I knew it would have worked, I'd have done it sooner.
Well, I could tell you now I wasn't typing, but I was I've been thinking on the spot, and I did clock today that they signed Yannick Bolasie today on a free. Yeah, they signed Bolasie today. Perfect timing for him to come in and if we play Firpo at left back or something, for him to rip him apart numerous times. But yeah, no. To be fair, with Swansea, it's because the thing is that because we've been in the Premier League for 3 years, it's really hard to just get knowledge of them. If you're asking me these questions in our promotion season, I'd probably be able to tell you all 11 Swansea players at start. But it's just I don't know. Swansea is Swansea, but they finish 14th in the Championship every season. Now it's they did have a good goal scorer, then we signed him. I don't really have that much of opinion on them.
It's a white shirt with 32 red on it, and you just swap the badges over, and it's Leeds circa 2011 to 16.
Yeah. It fully is. It fully is.
The rubbish. We should whoop them.
I'll give some insight. Not much. They got 3 points from their opening 7 games, so started terribly with a back 3. And then they switched it up, went to a back 4. They got 4 wins on the bounce, but now they've got 1 win in their last 6 games, and they're back on a bit of a shit run. They're not in that relegation battle anywhere near that anytime soon, but they are very much lower mid-table, not looking like it's going to go upwards. And don't get me wrong, you can have a bad start in the Championship and still make the playoffs, but they are going to have to do something drastic to turn that around. 2-2 draw with Hull their last time. They were beaten away at Ipswich, but most teams will be beaten by Ipswich. A draw with Sunderland, which isn't a bad result. And then obviously their last win was away at Blackburn. So their last win was away from home, but not at a side like us. And the only times they've come up against big teams, which are, away at home to Leicester, they lost 3-1, and then away at Ipswich. They've
done all right actually away from home.
That is fairly solid. Like some of their wins, I think they've beaten some reasonable teams. And So I don't think it's going to be as easy as we might think.
And their best results have come from away, haven't they? They beat Millwall 3-0, Plymouth 3-1, and then, like you say, the Blackburn game. So that's.
And that is how to inspire your guests to research on the spot.
I don't like doing that though, because it makes you look at it and you go, "Oh no, we might actually win this game."
I know, yeah, exactly. I was just thinking you were banging on about them being on a bad run of form. What a perfect team to go up against when you're on a bad run of form. Leeds United, ladies and gentlemen. If you want 3 points on a bad run of form, come to us. You'll probably win. God, Jason, send that up now, Phil. Should have told us that.
Glad I've inspired you all. That's what I'm here for, here all week. So, obviously, the lineup, and there's a good question in the chat that I think we'll touch on slightly when it comes to the lineup predictions. But I'll be honest and I'll answer this. I said on the podcast, again, if you haven't listened, go back and listen. I don't think he was. And I think there are going to be a couple of injuries and stuff with the lineup with Wednesday's game, but obviously weird timing. There hasn't been a press conference yet. I assume it must be tomorrow, so we haven't heard anything from Daniel Farke, but there's question marks over Liam Cooper. Apparently he pulled up with an injury towards the end of the game on Friday night. Ruta, that I think there has to be a question mark. I know he got through 70 minutes, and Junior Firpo obviously got through 70 minutes, the most minutes he's had since he's come back. But do you think that we need to be worried about the depth in those people that are out, because it's kind of key positions? Lad, I'll start with you. What would you like to hear from Daniel Farke tomorrow? And don't be too mean.
Well, to be fair, I feel like Rutter might be okay. I think because he played those 70 minutes against Rotherham, I think that shows he's in some sort of shape. And I think given another few days of rest with a bit of training as well, I think he should be fine to play on Wednesday. I think that's a reasonable amount of time to recover. But I think I'd just like to hear the correct players. Like, I don't think Strike will be back because, like you said about even in the last big pre-match preview, whatever, saying he's going to be back for this game. No, he's not. He's having a massive surgery, so I don't think he'll be back. But I think
I played like 10 minutes still, but probably hanging out.
Good.
But I think the main thing I would just like to hear, maybe Rutter's fully fit, he's back, because I know he was a doubt for Friday. But I think that's the main thing I want to hear, just that he's going to be 100% playing.
Big question for you as well, lad. Before I move on to your dad, is Spence coming back on Wednesday night?
I don't think straight back in the team. I'd like to see him come on as a sub, maybe at half time or something, or a little bit more into the second half. I don't think he'll be ready for a start because he hasn't played a lot of football. Even when he hasn't been injured, he's played one game. So I think maybe give him 20 minutes in the second half.
Dad, what about you? Anything you particularly do or don't want to hear from Farke tomorrow?
I think the big thing's the back four, right? It's we need people back. I want to hear Strikes back, but I actually I think we need Cooper ready to go as well. I'd love to hear that Spence is going to be on the bench. And if you don't want to hear anything, I think it's like we all felt right up until kickoff on Friday, right? We just want Rutter to be there.
Yeah.
You know, then we always feel like we've got a chance. But I think it's all about the back four and what's coming out there. I think there could be some quite stressful and upsetting news coming from it.
Any thoughts on Byram? Do you think Byram will be?
I mean, I'm hoping he's back because it was like kind of Byram was said to be back in training with Strike, wasn't he? Just before, and it was like a bit of a buzz about them two coming back, but it just so happened it was Strike who came back in. So hopefully Byram's not too far off. But we've got Middlesbrough on Saturday, guys.
Yeah, a couple of big games.
And I just kind of think maybe if Jed Spence, which would be great to get him back fitting up for that Middlesbrough game, considering his heritage. And then it'd be brilliant to have Byram maybe get 20 minutes, half an hour.
Yeah.
Left back again. After we're 5-0 up or whatever it is. So yeah, it's all about the back four for me. That's where it's getting really
quite
tricky
positive
for us.
for you. That was good.
Yeah.
Chris, what about you, mate? Thoughts on the press conference? Anyone you do or don't want to see in or out?
I think I'd probably quite like Firpo not to be playing. I'm not that confident when he's there. I know two of you are quite big fans, but he just doesn't fill the team with confidence. And compare him to Byram, it's just a massive difference straight away. One you're really confident is solid. The other, you don't know what's going to happen. No idea. And that we shouldn't still be talking about this.
Everybody likes a surprise, Chris.
Well, you wait for that surprise, but. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we necessarily need to play someone if they're not fit. We have got a bit of squad depth where we're not. We haven't got the squad that we need. I think certainly we need some new players in January. But if Rita's not fit, don't play him. Same as Dan James. If he needs a rest, don't play him. They're on form, but we have got other players that can cover. And I am hoping we see something more of Nonto. I know his head doesn't seem in it, but he has got more to give if he gets his head right.
Well, you've given me an idea for a quick question. I'll fire it straight back at you, seeing as it was you that raised it. Because obviously it's our first time together as a four this season. I want to know how you guys feel the season's going. But Chris, you just mentioned the January transfer window. Well, what do you think we need in that transfer window that's going to get us to where we need to be? If we're not already on course for it, which I honestly think we are, I think we should be basically getting promotion, ideally winning the league. But for me, I think we should be, and we are in good shape. I wouldn't say no to a couple of January signings, but equally I would say to temper people's expectations. I think maybe we get one or two and on loan. I don't see us going and buying anyone. But Chris, what would you do in January?
I think loan is the way to go because we're not going to, if we're targeting promotion, and that's obviously what everyone wants, we're not going to get a Prem ready player who we can kind of get into the team. So it's going to be someone that, there's got. I couldn't give you any names, but there's got to be plenty of players in some of the Premier League squads that we could get a loan. I think we definitely need a left back. I still think another striker.
Gotcha.
I think Liam's pretty close with these two things. I mean, I'm not sure a number 10, if we buy one, comes in to start immediately, but obviously a lot of talk around Elias Chair at QPR or Sarah at Norwich, who played really well against us. In terms of a left back, I know the lad that was on loan from Chelsea at Burnley last season, not getting a game at Chelsea, not gone back out, Ian Matson. I won't mind him either. So there's definitely a couple of options out there. Dad, I'm going to assume with the amount of FIFA you play, you have way more names lined up for me, yeah?
Not so much nowadays, unfortunately, but it's got to be a left back. I think that what I would like to see, and I'd be happy to see the sale of Nonto to secure this, is not if we got rid of him. Somerville is outstanding.
Yeah.
Somerville is, I think, better than Rutter this season for me. And he's the most exciting player we have in our side as far as when he's on the pitch, you really do feel like you've got every chance of getting a goal. I hate it when we sub him, but I'm sure Clark's got his fitness in mind with that. But I think we've got to secure as much as we can without having Somerville leave. I would also, if you sold Nonto, I think we've got to learn from the lesson we did with Ben White and have a crack at signing Rondon, because I think he's wonderful.
Exactly.
And like actually just like switch it on I'm hoping Spurs pull it back and look fantastic, and do not, don't go down a hill and they kind of want him back because of how well he's played for us. But I think that for me would be a great signing, and a left back, and I'd be more than happy to see Nonto go. But I think the writing was on the wall from him on the start, and he's never really recovered. Although he did set up the Bamford offside goal, I guess, but it wasn't the greatest of crosses in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I agree with the shout. In terms of selling Willie Nonto and reinvesting that money straight away, I would have also said, can we make Joe Rodon permanent? There's no rush to do it in January, but equally, why? If we do it in January, we might actually get it cheaper. I don't know.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I mean, like we lost out on Ben White because we didn't make a move like that. Now, I've got no idea if we would have made it across the line if we'd gone to buy him in the January or not.
Probably
but
not.
I'd love
With
to.
hindsight.
I just don't want money to be the reason we lose Somerville and miss out on Rondon.
Yeah, well, judging by obviously the investment the 49ers have got new investment in the last couple of weeks as well. I don't think money's going to be an obstacle or a reason as to why players leave. I think the only reason that someone would leave in January or at the end of the season is because A, Farke doesn't want them, or B, they don't want to be here, and then subsequently that Farke doesn't want them. This is a good shout. Another person I had in mind, Matt Target from Newcastle, not really getting game time.
He's not, is he? And he's a great
like
player.
His face in a Villa shirt, but equally, I won't mind it if we got him. So people are always going to mention Charlie Taylor as well. Rodon and Nonto swap deal with Spence thrown in as well. Interesting. Lad, you definitely play enough FIFA to have names to throw at me. Come on, what are you buying on career mode right now?
I mean, to be fair, I names wise, like I'd like to see us go out and get a number 10. With outgoings wise, I don't really think we need to sell like a Nonto or something. Like, don't get me wrong, it'd be brilliant to have those extra funds, but like I think Nonto is such a good asset for us. When you look at it, he can be a brilliant player. He can perform brilliantly, and then also like his price what he is now, that can like double in the future. So I don't like. There's no point in selling him right now because what's the gain? We're not going to have like the big money to spend on like Premier League players because they're not going to want to join us in the Championship. That's just how it is.
We're getting Sinistera back next year. If we go up, he'll come back to us, won't he?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, he probably will come back to us, but like, I think we have to sell him. Like, I'd rather much have Nonto than Sinistera because when you look at it from like, because I'm putting on my like career mode head here, like Nonto is just younger. Like you can get much better than Sinistera. I think he can. He's playing for Italy, like one of the best teams in the world as well. Like I just think selling Nonto just doesn't need to happen. Then like incomings wise, like I don't know. It's really tough because when you look at the depth that we have, like in midfield the depth's good, in defence the depth's good, in attack the depth's good. Like let's not forget we have like Jadon Anthony, Dan James, Nonto, Somerville, Pervada, like Rotherham. I know
it's a back four needs a
strength.
But I'd even say
it's important to remember as well. In the summer, they did have a bit of money set aside that we were going to spend on Nadim Amiri that didn't get spent. They didn't end up going and spending it on someone else. That money is there. So the financial thing's not an issue. So with that money, lad, you'd think surely there is something there to go and get someone, but equally, I expect it to be loan players.
Yeah, that's the same with me. Like, if I expect anyone to come in, it's loan players. But like, I just like, in a way, I don't think we need to bring in any signings. I think the set of players that we have now are good enough. I think we've got a good group of players. Like we're saying, like defense and stuff. I'd argue the depth in defense and the quality is there. Like when Spence gets back to full fitness, like if we play Byram at left back, Spence at right back, that's your full back sorted. You got good backup for them as well. The centre backs, you got Rodon, Cooper, Cresswell, Strike. I think we've got brilliant depth. I don't see the point in getting anyone in January because we're just wasting funds that we could use for next year.
No, I agree. I'm very much with Lad on this one. I think Lad's probably got my favourite answer out of the three of you. You two are fucking useless, honestly. Play more FIFA.
Who's the backup left back then?
Junior
Yeah, I was
Firpo.
going to say.
Yeah,
Oh,
Firpo.
come on! I mean, straight away, like he's
Shackleton
not.
can play left back as well. Look, I'm telling you, the depth
Played less
is
than
there.
90 minutes. Give him a chance.
You get the left back when we get promoted. Like,
He
because
saw it at Rotherham, man. He's just all over the place when it comes. He just there's zero defence in.
it's a good thing he's a backup because we play Sam Byron there. Like, I think Firpo's okay to have in the Championship. It's when we get to the Premier League we need to think about moving these players on.
Byron can't play every week. That's the problem. And I think when Cooper's left centre back, I think that makes his game worse because he's probably worrying where he's stood and how far up the pitch he is and who's covering that space. So that's why Cooper gets a lot of stick because he's trying to cover for him.
That's so right, Chris. Like that. That's Cooper was all over the place for that goal because he was so exposed.
I mean, I haven't seen a goal yet in the 2 games that Junior Firpo's been involved in that he's actually responsible for. The first one.
Oh my God! Have we totally forgotten about what we've seen for the last 2 years?
Right. Okay.
That is no way. That is not a measure. You can't put his 2 appearances this season.
You have to.
It's still the same guy.
On whether they're okay for the Championship, you have to judge them on how they performed in the Championship, not against top.
And he got absolutely ripped apart when he came on. He got ripped apart.
I stand by Phil on this. I think Firpo is okay for the Championship. I think he's a good enough left back. I think it's all right, but if Sam Byron gets injured or something, that Firpo goes in. I don't see the problem with him. Like at left back, it's fine.
Literally, what are you basing his Championship credentials on? Like it's all hope. It's literally hope.
I'd rather have hope than misery.
You have not seen anything that man has done for Leeds United that would make you think he can play football at any level.
You were saying all of last season, Dad. You were saying all of last season when we signed Rutter, for example. Rutter was dreadful. He is an awful sign. He's not worth the 30 million. And I tell you what, I was praising him all that time. You can back me up for it. I was always saying he's a good player and I like him. Lo and behold, he comes down into the Championship and he starts playing some of the best football in his life.
I hadn't seen 2 seasons of him before that, though. I'd literally just seen him under Allardyce.
Seasons of Frank Lampard.
I'd literally seen 2 seasons of Firpo being rubbish.
Anything this man says. He says,
Frank Lampard will guide everything. The same with Dan James. The same with Dan James. It's the same with Dan James.
What I'm trying to work, are you trying to say Firpo's now playing the best football of his life now is in the Championship?
No,
is that the comparison?
I'm not. I'm saying that he can be good enough for the Championship. It's just that, like, 2 games is a little bit of a narrow thing.
Based on what?
Here's another example. Dan James, in his first season with us, I've got to admit, I wasn't impressed with him, and I don't think he did a lot to live up to that 30 million price tag or whatever, how much we paid for him. And then second season, he goes out on loan and does nothing for Fulham. Comes down to the Championship, and he's playing brilliantly. These players, like when they're given time to play in a Championship team, they're clearly good enough. And I think, look, don't get me wrong, Firpo sometimes has his absolute lackluster moments, but I do think that if he comes into the team a little bit, starts playing a little bit more, I think he could be a half decent backup for us. Yeah. And that's where I think we got good depth. I don't think we need to sign a left back in January.
I think you've got to give him a chance. And I understand the point of view of I've watched him for the last 2 years with my own eyes, but you've watched him at Premier League level. You haven't watched him at Championship level because he's only played less than 90 minutes in 2 appearances. You've got to be able to give him a fair chance. This is potentially his level. Don't get me wrong, I don't think he's a Barcelona left back, but equally, he's not starting games for us. He is going to have to play minutes because Sam Byron can't play every single full 90. And so far, in the 2 appearances he has had, there has been goals that have come from that half space between him and Cooper, but that was getting attacked at the other side with Archie Gray at right back for the last 10 games. That's not something new, and it's not something that's just nailed on Firpo. And neither of the goals that we've conceded since he's been back in the team has he actually made a mistake. it was Somerville that gives the ball away against Rotherham, and then they go and have about
Well,
five more
you could name 5 players. But
you could name 5
he
players.
was out of position.
But you
He
ain't. But
did
you're
give
not
it away.
naming Firpo. And in the Plymouth goal, the ball actually goes between Cooper and Ampadu. Firpo is marking his man, and we're actually playing a man-marking system at the moment. So it's not his fault, either of these goals. They may come from that area of the pitch, but those instructions are coming from the manager, and it's also the way that the other teams are trying to play and attack that space. So for me, I don't think you can. I think you've got to give him a chance to get some minutes under his belt. He's been out a long time, and if we give him a few games, fingers crossed, next time Byram's injured and Firpo's been on the bench for a few weeks, he steps in and he does a good job.
I hope he starts against Swansea.
We'll see in a couple of weeks.
On Wednesday night, and I hope he has a bloody blinder. I hope he does, and then we can come back here after the game, actually, because are we all going to be there on Wednesday?
We are.
Well, yeah. Then we can all laugh at me. Right then, me and Phil can laugh at you, Dad. I'm telling you.
You always do anyway.
Yeah. It's a good steer, lad.
You're insane. You two are insane, and we've got it documented on here.
I mean,
free.
Usually when a minority points at a majority and says you're the problem, they're the problem.
Furpovians.
Will Lad steered us well onto the lineup, so we may as well do it now. I mean, I'm assuming 2 of us might have Firpo in, 2 of us won't, but let's see what happens. Guys, if you want to play along, get your lineups in, we'll flash them up. So yeah, we'll start with the back 5. I'll do it as a whole. Obviously, I usually go one position at a time, but I think the asking people who they think's going in net thing's getting a bit boring. So, Chris, who do you want in your back 5? Give me what you want, but then also mention a little bit about what you actually expect if they're different.
Yeah, so obviously goalie is not going to be no change there. I think right back is going to be Archie Gray. I'm hoping Pascal's fit so we can have our first choice pair in Rondon and Pascal, and Byram left back would be obviously the ideal. So that's what I want to go with. I think we might get that. I think they will be ready. But if it's not that, then yeah, I think it is a concern because I don't think we do have the players to cover on either side. I think I was happy enough with Ayling at the start of the season, but now his confidence is going to be shot, or I don't know what's happened if he's injured, but it's going to be hard to put him back in the team now. So Gray's kind of the only option at the moment.
And then centre backs, and who have you got at left back?
Byram left back.
Right. And you sticking with Cooper at left centre back, or do you want Pascal back in? Do you think he's ready?
I think Pascal. I mean, yeah, he came on. I think he must be ready on that basis.
Okay. And Dad, I'm assuming you and Chris are just going to go the same. Me and we'll go the same.
I mean, look, you know, on the Firpo things to put it to bed. We brought.
It's already in bed.
Well, no, but you brought it up because you were saying we don't need to buy a left back in January. That's what because which is insane. We've needed a left back for about the last 3 years.
At no point did either of us say we don't need a left back.
That's where you said not to buy one in January. That's where it came from.
A championship standard left back in January where we could rate.
Don't buy a championship standard one. Buy one that's better.
Well, he's going to be playing in the championship.
We're not going to.
So the starting amazing goal. I'd actually just go with Chris, but I actually don't think Byram's going to be ready to start. So what I would look at is managing.
Are you putting Firpo in?
I'd manage the fullbacks, and I would start with Gray, but I'd want him to come off when we're 3-0 up and put Ayling in there because we need him for Middlesbrough on Saturday. Rondon, I think, can hack it, keep him in there. And I would actually start with Strike at centre-back with him if Byram was fit enough to start, but I don't think he will. So I think it'll be Cooper in next to Rondon, and I'd go Strike at left-back because there's no way I'm playing third ball.
Oh, lad. I would say talk some sense into him, but instead, because I can't be asked, just give me yours.
Right, so obviously Meslier in goal, I think, is the obvious. And Sam Byram Archie Gray at right back, and then Rodon in centre back. And then I don't think Strike's going to be fit enough because, like we said, he's had a major surgery. Why on earth would he be fit enough? I just don't think he will be. So I'll go Cooper at left back. No, Cooper at left centre back. And then at left back, Firpo.
I mean, yeah, an interesting choice from the three panelists here. We all agree on, hopefully, Archie Gray being right back because it's the best option at the moment, which I think is good. Back two, as in the centre halves, I think it has to be, if both are fit and ready and available and 100%, then of course it should be Struijk and Rodon together. But there's question marks over both those left centre backs for me at the moment. Cooper apparently has an injury picked up at the end of the Rotherham game. Pascal has just had surgery and somehow managed to miraculously get himself back on a pitch for 10 minutes at the end of the other night. So maybe he is ready, but one way or another, I think we'll see one of them. Whether either of them are ready to play or not is arguable, but I didn't think Ruta was ready to play the other night either. So, but for me, I think left back, there's no point sandwiching someone in a position that doesn't suit them. And I don't think Pascal Struijk's a left back. I think Pascal Struijk is one of the best centre-backs, if not the best centre-back pairing in the Championship. And if him and Rodon are both available to play on the same team, you put them next to each other and anything else is a daft decision. Firpo's a left-back. He's done absolutely so far. He needs to get...
Daft.
You've got options on the bench. Sam Byron was on the bench the other night, so he could have come on. If you have to give them 45 each, give them 45 each. But I don't see the point of pigeonholing back into the old Bielsa thing of square pegs round hole. Play a left back at left back.
Striker's played left back. Striker's played left back tons of times.
He got ripped apart. He got relegated in the season that he played left back.
You have not seen Junior Firpo have a bad game in the Championship. Yeah, it could happen. I'm not pretending it can't because it happened a million times in the Prem, but we haven't seen it yet. You've got to give him a chance. It's a clean slate. We've been relegated. He hasn't fucked off. He stayed. He did have options to leave. He is a left back. He has played for Barcelona. He has played in Europe. He's played for us at a time where, let's be honest, the entire club was a fucking joke from the moment we sacked Bielsa until the second we got relegated. So I don't pin it on one individual when you've got Mark Rocker, fucking Llorente, Robin Koch, all pissing off. So you can pin it on someone who's still got the balls to stay here and actually give a go. But you're not going to pin anything on them because they're all.
No one wanted him. We couldn't get rid of him if we tried.
Yeah,
they did.
Exactly. Who's going to buy him? Who's going to buy him?
They had offers. Yes, even Betis is still trying to buy him, but he had offers.
Get lost.
If you listen to the Leeds United podcast from last week, he said himself he had offers from all of the top 5 divisions in Europe. He could have.
It's nice for him to say that himself.
Who told you that?
Listen, the Leeds United podcast. Listen to it from last week. Either way, we're not dwelling on this. Go back and listen to it.
Firpo said he had 5 offers in.
He said
no, really, Firpo.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, before we continue with the Firpo bashing, because it's unnecessary, we're going to move on. Well, anyway, we'll move on to the midfield. So who have you got in your midfield too, lad? Go on, be sensible. Talk to me.
Ampadu and Kamara. I originally put Groove, but then I was like, oh no, this is going to sound awful with Cooper and Firpo playing in the same team. So I put Kamara and Ampadu. Well, the only reason why I put Groove was because he played against Stoke last time, didn't he? So I was thinking, it's another midweek. He might play him. But no, I'm going to go Kamara and Ampadu.
I think Ampadu's not going to get a rest because, generally speaking, so far he hasn't. I'll be surprised if either of you two go any different. But, Dad, I'm assuming it's Ampadu and Kamara.
It's all the way, isn't it? I'm not a big Kamara fan, but he's the best we've got for there.
The answer to this question is definitely yes, by the way, Nigel. Ampadu was previously a centre-back.
Started, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, it is an option. I believe he's right-footed, though, so he would be more on the... You don't want... I know people will say left foot, right foot, who cares? But for me, I think left-footed, left centre-half, right-footed, right centre-half is better. Chris, Kamara and Ampadu, I'm imagining in the midfield.
Yeah, there's no one else. I mean, yeah, we're playing our other sort of decent centre midfielder at right back, so we've got no one left to pick.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's move on to the front four. Give me again. I imagine it probably picks itself, but Chris, I'll fire back round. I'm assuming same front four as we've got used to now. They're looking like it's nailed on first choice.
I think so, but like I said, if it depends who's fit. If James does need a rest, then give him a rest. I mean, we have got players who can come in, but it probably is going to be the same. But I'd be happy to see Nonto or Anthony come in. To be honest, I think they both can. They're both capable. So yeah, happy with either of those.
Both looked all right off the bench for the first time in a little while the other night. So far, the impact from the bench hasn't really happened from them two for a little bit. But Nonto in particular looked promising when he came on the other night. Nearly scored with a good effort. So yeah, I think the front four generally picks itself. Dad can always throw a spanner in the works or tell me James is getting the armband.
I'm just delighted you guys put Firpo at left back because I wouldn't surprise me if you two wanted him up front.
I want him on pens.
Oh my God. Jesus.
Go on, tell me what.
I wondered why it was a while since I'd been on. No, I mean it chooses itself, right? You've got to start with Pirro. I mean, the inconsistencies of the goal scoring, I think, are compensated for by how he plays in the Somervilles, the Jameses. There's a reason they're having such a great season. I think Pirro's got a lot to do with that, as much as Rutter has, with his brilliant layoffs and stuff. Less flicky shit from Rutter. I want less flicky. I want more, straightforward, good quality setting up like he did for Somerville for his goal. But yeah, I think that whole four is probably the best in the Championship by far.
Couple of suggestions coming in saying people think Jaden Anthony deserves a start. Dad, obviously, Dan James is the name that's missed out there. Would you take Dan James out for Jaden Anthony?
I wouldn't take him out for Anthony, but if he's injured, I would absolutely. I think Anthony's looked great when he comes on. I think he looks really exciting. I think when Anthony starts, he doesn't look as great sometimes for the game, but I think he's a great impact player for us.
Okay. And lad, I can't help but notice the pair of us enjoying when Dad says less tricky shit from Rutter. I imagine you're thinking the same as me.
Not tricky, flicky shit.
Flicky.
I like his tricky shit. I don't like his flicky shit.
Lad, do you like the flicky and the tricky shit?
Yeah, I love both of it. I love both of the shit.
I want more.
No, yeah, give us more of
it. Same from four for you, lad.
I think Somerville, Pirro. Then either I'd like to see Nonto or Anthony play. I think Anthony probably does deserve a start, but also I'd like to see Nonto play, and then Rutter up top. I'd go for.
Obviously, a couple of people pointing out Pirro to score against Swansea. Fingers crossed, eh? So come on, let's get involved with the score predictions, guys, in the chat. Plenty of you watching at the moment, of course. Do the usual, smash a like, subscribe, all of that stuff. But get your score predictions in and I'll flash them up. Let us know what you think for Wednesday night. I think Dad's already given us a bit of a steer, bearing in mind he said when we're 3-0 up. But lad, I'll start with you. What do you think for Wednesday night? Are you predicting a heavy win?
I'm thinking a 2-0 win. I just think a standard simulation 2-0 win. I'd love to see Rutter get a goal, and I'd love to see Pirro get a goal as well because I think they both need goals for themselves. Rutter just has to score, and I think Pirro could do with a goal as well. So I think 2-0 win to us.
Rutter still yet to score at Ellen Road as well, so obviously it would be nice to be there for the first.
Yeah.
Dad, come on then. I know it's got at least a 3 in it. So
I'm with Jamie. I just think because we're so challenged at the back four, I think we will concede, but I think 3-1. 3-1 for me.
3-1.
And Pirro will score.
Okay. Chris?
I think I'm going to go 3-1 as well. I think it's going to be quite tight. I think it'll be tight throughout, but we'll eventually get ahead. And I think in the second half we'll just sort of make it comfortable with sort of 20 minutes to go. Hopefully a sub makes an impact and share the goals around, and hopefully we're not overly reliant on Somerville. But I think it should be a 3-1 win.
Interesting. So obviously lots of different predictions coming in the chat. I like that there's not really many clean sheets being mentioned, and Michael said the same himself here. No clean sheet. I would tend to agree on the no clean sheet side, just because I'll be honest, as much as Gail, I'm with you there. I do want one. Personnel
for one goal, do you think?
Personnel available to us in defence makes me think we might not keep a clean sheet, but I'm okay with that as long as we outscore the opponent. So I'm going. Well, yeah, I'm going with Allison. I'm going a 2-1 win, sort of similar to Plymouth, where we should be putting way more past them, but at the moment we are wasteful in front of goal. We can create loads of chances and profligate, give the goalkeeper a lot of hope with our terrible shooting. I'd love to see Ruta actually strike a ball properly. It's the one thing I can say that I'm not sold on him so far. His finishing's not there, but I'd love to see something else. And
I feel like finishing's dead bipolar, you know. Because I look at stuff like, you know, his goal against Millwall, where he absolutely twatted it into the back of the net. And then, like, the game after, he'll do some, like, P-roller to the keeper. Finishing's so confusing. It's weird.
No,
Composure.
I think, there's a mixture of that, composure and very inconsistent finishing. But it'd be nice to see him get a goal. And as Chris has already broken the surprise here, it's not a surprise because I do it all the time. I think, Dad, have you got your limbs button ready? Can you do that?
That's now with Lad.
Oh, Lad, have you got the limbs button? Let me know when you're ready. You got one? Yeah, there we go. Right, hold on. So we're gonna have Ruta, who's gonna make it 1-0. And then because we're Leeds and we like to make it difficult, there will be an equaliser, but there will be a 90th minute penalty. Patrick Bamford is on the pitch. He walks up to the ball. He grabs the ball. Junior Firpo lays the smackdown on Patrick Bamford and blasts it into the back of the net. I love how one half of the screen is happy and dancing, the other half is shaking its head.
Hey, if Firpo did that, I would cheer him on and give it the limbs.
Firpo scores, you're on the pitch.
I'm on the pitch if Firpo scores.
Good. Well, I hope so. So before we go, obviously, guys, thank you for staying with us tonight, and obviously do the usual smash like. If you haven't, go back and listen to some of the podcasts as well. But just briefly before we go, just wanted to mention, obviously, 12 years today since the passing of Gary Speed. Hopefully there'll be a good little sing-song on 11 minutes at Ellen Road on Wednesday night. I'm sure there always is. But also to mention as well, Terry Venables, former manager, has sadly passed as well at the age of 80. Two big characters, obviously one more so intrinsically linked with Leeds, but big loss this week with Terry Venables, and obviously still reflecting on the death of Gary Speed. Dad, I'm going to come to you not for any other reason than the fact you are quite old, and have you seen both of them play?
You cheeky get. Obviously Gary Speed, huge influence on certainly Leeds fans my age who kind of grew up with him being in that iconic for midfield. It was an extremely heart-wrenching day when you got that sad news. It's an anniversary, but it's not a pleasant one, but we use it in not a negative way. We use it to remember what a wonderful person he was. And Terry Venables, probably one of the worst Leeds managers I've ever seen at Ellen Road, but a great character. And look, what he did in 1996 is again special for anyone who experienced it and is an England fan. It was unbelievable. And despite being in Euro finals and World Cup semi-finals, I don't think we've ever experienced with England.
Actions another time.
Jesus.
Dad, of course. Lovely to have you along. I'll see you on Wednesday night.
Yeah, see you Wednesday.
Hopefully you'll be apologising when you see that miraculous Firpo penalty, yeah?
I will apologise. I will, but
we'll have a public apology on the show, yeah?
Absolutely.
And Chris, obviously, thank you for having us along with us tonight. No seeing you on Wednesday. Where are you watching the game?
Probably just from home, yeah. We can't get there on Wednesday, but we've got a good record at home. So whatever you've been doing recently, keep doing it because it's going well.
The curse is broken. I'm allowed to go again. Fingers crossed, guys. So enjoy the game. Keep it locked. Obviously, there'll be plenty of post-match content from us, I imagine, win, draw, or loss. And of course, smash the like and all that stuff. Smile and wave, boys. Pretend that we're leaving.